name is Erica Levy. I work here in the admissions office at Bronx Community College. From admissions, I'm joined here with my colleague Natalie Gill Crotty, who will be in the chat throughout the presentation. She'll be sharing some helpful links with you, so you can access that as you're listening, and you can also ask any questions that come up throughout the presentation in the chat. I'm also joined with some wonderful faculty members from our business administration programs, and you'll hear more about the programs they represent in just a couple of minutes. I just want to level set the agenda for you so you know what we'll be doing today. We are going to zoom into our majors and cover the business offerings that we have here at BCC. There'll definitely be time for Q&A, and then we will go over from admissions what you need to do to get started at BCC. So without further ado, I just want to kick it over to Professor Simpson. I will stop sharing my screen and allow for you to share yours so you can share the presentation with our group.
Okay, ready now?
Yes, ready for you.
Okay. All right, this isn't quite as spiffy as I guess I could make it. Can they see? I think.
Yes, we can see. It looks great.
Okay. Right. Well, students, welcome. I'm so pleased that you've come for this sharing, and I want to talk to you about the business major of business administration, management. Now, management is an activity. It's an actual activity that people have to learn about. Some people think management sort of comes naturally, but indeed there are textbooks written that give you ideas about how best to go about managing the responsibilities of managing. And of course, managers are about managing the resources that make up a business. And those resources are human resources, financial resources, and physical resources. Also information resources. And so managers are meant to manage these resources with sort of four basic functions, four basic functions. Planning and decision making, as you can see here, organizing, leading, and controlling. And so in the course of getting a degree in management, you are learning more and more deeply about these particular aspects of endeavor, how they apply to all the people, the different types of people, different types of environments that you're going to find yourself in as managers. So have a good look at management. Now, the one reason I would suggest that you have a really deep look at management is because management as a business endeavor is an all-rounder. Certainly in studying it in school, it's an all-rounder because you will in fact be touching on all aspects of business activity and business direction. So even though you're, as a manager, going to be driving the efforts and coming up with ideas and concepts, there are people who have specific activities that you also are needing to be coordinating in the organization's activity. So even though you may study management, you're also in your study going to cover some accounting, you're going to cover quantitative aspects, finance and the like. There's also marketing that you'll be engaged with, as well as getting involved with some understanding of the computer science and how you use that in analysis. So there are different career paths, obviously, that you'll take down the line. After you've gotten your degree, you're going to find yourself branching off probably into one specific of the functional areas or not. But the all-rounder aspect of the management degree gives you time to work towards defining what you really, really think you might like to do. Now, all managers, even at the very, very top level, have one of the fundamental activities, fundamental functions, I should say, that they have leaned into very specifically. But they started off generalists. They didn't know necessarily what they were going to do. So I'm suggesting you certainly give management a good look as you are looking at your major areas. So what are some of the popular industries for business management? Well, I've listed just a few here. I could list all of them here because every single industry, every single aspect of human interaction requires management. And this is whether we're looking at for-profit firms or not-for-profit businesses and activities. They all require managers. Our school requires managers. We call the president, we have department heads, but that's a management, it's a management structure. So management exists everywhere in every aspect of what we do. There are obviously three different levels of achievement in your studies. You're thinking about coming to BCC, you would receive an associate's degree, a 2-year degree. That could be in management, but you could also go on to a 4-year program, a bachelor's degree. You could again get another degree in management, a bachelor's level degree. And indeed, you could go on for a master's level degree, an MBA of the sort, and still you could major in management. There's so many good jobs that are available for folks who have pure management degrees. So it's a very, very flexible choice, management would be. And certainly from BCC, you could go on very easily to any of the other programs. We have the kind of curriculum that would support you and develop you so that you could move off and on into the higher level degree programs in management and also any of the other business areas. And my colleagues would speak of those in a second, the accounting and marketing, for instance. Looking at the kinds of entry-level jobs, if you were considering not going on to a further degree, these are some of the titles of the entry-level jobs you would have with a management degree. I didn't say accounting, I didn't say marketing or any of the others, but with a management degree, you could still go out and get decent jobs, and these are some of the titles of those kinds of jobs. If I move on to the next slide here, you'll see the titles for folks that have bachelor's and MBA level attainments, CEO, CIO, human resource director, etc. These are higher level management positions, still management though, even though they're in somewhat more specialized areas. We can talk about average salaries. I mean, if you have an associate's degree, we can talk about average salaries around $50,000. This is sort of across the country. It may be a little higher in certain other areas like New York and maybe a little lower, but on average $46,000 for the associate's degree. We look at more advanced accomplishments in the degree area. Bachelor's about $65,000 as average salary that are managers. And this is all coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics looking across the country. And then if we went on and looked at the MBA level, $75,000, $80,000 would be sort of annual median earnings for the MBA degree in management. These are all relating to management. Now, I won't go any further with any more of a discussion of salaries and the like, but I will just say, again, to reinforce that management is a good, solid, foundational course of study if you're interested in business and haven't yet decided which specific area of business you really would like to charge forward on. So do keep in mind management. It covers a full range of all the areas of study that you'll need to have as you go forward. Gives you time to make up your mind a little later about specialization. And even if you never ever truly specialize, you will have a bedrock of understanding about how the people you see running things go about running them. So I'm sort of finished here. I won't take questions now, or should I take questions not now? How should we handle this, Erica?
Usually we take them at the end.
Okay, well,
But we,
fine.
yeah, so questions are open in the chat. If there's anything pressing, we could definitely address that now. But typically we'll just take questions at the end, and whoever wants to take it can answer.
Okay. So I'm reasonably finished with what I wanted to say in this first instance.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Feel free to keep for students, keep your questions coming in the chat if you have any, and we'll certainly get to them. And we'll just turn it over to Professor Wang now.
Right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming, and I'm very excited to be here to talk to you about accounting. So I teach accounting at PCC. I have been teaching accounting for the last 4 or 5 years. And before I went into teaching, I actually worked in accounting, and a couple of other areas that accountants typically go into. So I will introduce you to those fields as I get to those topics. But I'm very excited to talk to you about accounting for the next few minutes. So if I were to explain what accounting is to layperson, it's basically all about collecting data. When I say data, I mean financial data. So these are transactions that companies get involved in on a daily, hourly basis. And there's a whole ton of them, right? I'm sure many of you have heard about big data, machine learning. So accounting is in the midst of all of this revolutionary trends that are happening right now. But accountants are particularly interested in explaining the patterns in this data and presenting it to people that could actually do something with this data. So when we say people that could do something with this, we mean two groups of people. One is a group of executives at that company for them to make decisions to manage their business. And the other group is investors, maybe banks, lenders, government. They want to get a sense of how the company is doing, whether it is to figure out whether they should invest, make a loan, or whether they're complying with regulations. But whoever it is that want to use this information, accountants are in the business of providing this very crucial high-level summary of all of the financial transactions. So for that reason, accounting is called the universal language of business, lingua franca, if you will, just like how French used to be the language of the world, and then now maybe English. But accounting is that language for business. No matter what field you go into, accounting financial statements serve that purpose of a common sort of knowledge that people would have about the business opportunity, the company, the investments, and so forth. Okay, so as far as opportunities, let's say that you study accounting, get this degree, maybe you go further to a senior college, graduate school. What can you do with this accounting degree? There are two main fields that accounting graduates tend to pursue. The first is accounting itself, obviously, and those fields are listed at the top. And at the bottom are sort of adjacent related fields where you can use your accounting skill sets and your capacity to understand these numbers, transactions really well. So in the accounting side, you can join a professional services firm. So these are companies that provide audit services, tax services for other companies. Okay, so investors want to know if they should invest in a company. So they want to look at some financial results, right? But the question always is are these results accurate? How can we trust that the executive team is not lying to just get investor money? That's when the auditors come in, and these auditors, who often have CPAs, are dispatched to these firms, companies, and then they audit selectively financial statements. And then they produce a letter that says, you can trust these companies' financial statements. So those people are called the professional services firm auditors. And that by far, I would say, is the most common career track for accounting majors. But it's not limited to just that. They can also go work for a large corporation such as General Motors, Time Warner, Bank of America. They all need accountants to take care of their transactions and summarizing data and so forth. Nonprofits such as museums, foundations, universities need accountants. And governments such as the federal government, the New York State government, New York City government, all need accountants. So these are purely just accounting, but you don't have to be just limited to accounting opportunities. You could do all these other things. You could do finance, which is involved in making investment decisions, marketing, using your analytic skills that you will develop as an accounting major, investment banking, which is all about mergers, acquisitions, helping companies acquire other companies, merges, and consulting, which is where you advise companies on improving profitability, cutting costs, becoming bigger and better. So as far as I'm concerned, my career path has taken a roles here first in the corporate finance. So initially I was a investment banking analyst at JP Morgan, which I assume that many of you have heard of. And investment banking is, as I said, about mergers and acquisitions. And I was able to use my accounting knowledge to a great benefit. And one of the benefits of PCC is that accounting is a major, where many of the schools in the area do not offer accounting, such as Columbia, maybe Princeton. These schools are liberal arts schools, and as such, accounting is not an option. But here we do offer it, and that kind of knowledge can be really useful in not only accounting fields, but in related fields such as banking and consulting as well. One of the projects I worked on as a consultant was trying to help a large corporation, a Procter & Gamble, to decide whether they should launch a major snack line in a small European market, whether they should make it sweet, salty, whether they should place these snacks at the eye level for the adult shoppers or low level for the young adult or toddler shoppers, right? And a lot of decisions in that kind of a project depends on accounting knowledge, such as margins, costs, revenues, and so forth. So I can talk to you a lot more, but because of the limited time, I'm gonna have to move on to next slides, but feel free to reach out anytime if you are curious about any of these career options. They're indeed very exciting. To be more specific about public accounting options, what people do is that they typically start out as accounting majors, and then they study for one of the licensing exams. CPA is a required license if you want to go into audit track, where you audit different companies, and then you tell investors and government whether the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the regulations. But there are other licenses, such as CMA, Certified Management Accountant, and that license is used for landing on jobs within the corporate side. So that also is very popular. And at PCC, we have a scholarship opportunity for students to not only study for these exams, but also take the exams for free. So we give out annually these scholarships to cover all of the expenses. So there are opportunities for anyone who is really serious about studying accounting here. And for other fields, as I mentioned, the accountant's skill set is in high demand, whether it's consulting finance, like I have experienced, but also marketing and other business fields. Career options and outlook is great. It has been for a while. So as far as my own students over the last 5 years, some of them have gone into workforce directly after completing their associates at PCC, but most have gone on to senior colleges to get the bachelor's degree and to get the CPA and the CMA licenses, because these licenses require a bachelor's degree at the minimum. But one thing to note is that one of the questions I always get is, I advise my students on transferring to a senior college. So most want to transfer to a CUNY college, such as Lehman, just close by here, and also like Baruch or Queens, other CUNY senior colleges. But the options are not limited to CUNY colleges. Many have gone on to Ivy League schools. Columbia is a very popular option for PCC students. Yale is also a very popular school for PCC, as well as Cornell. I've seen 2 or 3 every year going to those schools. And the question always is those schools do not offer accounting as a major. So if I transfer, would I get credit for all the accounting classes I've taken at PCC? And the answer is yes. So in the case of Yale, they have economics major, and they have given economics electives credit for all of the accounting classes at PCC. And common misconception is that it's really prohibitively expensive to go to these schools, but there are many fellowship opportunities available that cover all of the expenses. And PCC students have done really well historically in getting these external grants that would basically finance whichever college they choose to transfer to later on. And accounting has been has a strong track record in helping students in that regard. Okay, and finally, as far as the entry-level jobs, there are quite a few. So in the public accounting field, they typically enter as staff accountants or staff auditors. And as we said before, these positions require CPA license. But for the management accounting side, CMA is a popular certification, but is not required. And often students accept job offers with these job titles, such as accounting analysts, financial analysts, and so on. And how do they pay? They pay really well. So for the entry-level accountants, so these are jobs at the CPA firms, professional services firms, according to a Glassdoor.com, which is a career site for people to network and get information about companies and so on. The entry level is 55,000, but this number depends on the location of the job and size of the company. So bigger the company, the better the pay tends to be, and the level of the candidate. Okay, so people that are really senior that stick around for 5 to 10 years can expect to make a lot more. So yeah, the opportunities are looking good, and accounting definitely is something you should strongly consider for your major here. All right, so with that, I'll turn it over to, is it Erica or?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much, Professor Wang. I am going to share the screen for Professor Aikoi, and I will turn it over to you in just a second. Let's get the screen up and running.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. So let me see. I can turn my video on.
Do you see the marketing screen?
Yes, I can see the market
Wonderful.
screen. Thank you so much for that. Let me just move this around here a bit. Okay, so my name is Imakoji Aikoye, and marketing is one of the courses that I teach for the Business and Information System Department. So according to the American Marketing Association, which is AMA, marketing is actually defined as the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, society at large. And this definition is in effect as of 2017. So every now and then, you know, this definition is improved upon. And so there may be another definition out there now, I'm not sure, but this was the last that I came across. Next slide, please. So what can be done with a marketing degree? So a person, just as you, with a marketing degree, whether it's an associate degree like you may be pursuing at Bronx Community College, or a bachelor's degree that you could pursue at Lehman, Baruch, and some of the other colleges out there, or a master's degree thereafter, you can get to work in several settings, which includes in businesses. So think about businesses. No matter where you find a business, there is always a marketing component to it. In other words, without marketing, you could not possibly sell any product or service. So marketing is basically infused in every aspect of businesses. And this includes, like, you know, marketing firms, finance firm, supermarkets, clothing stores, pharmacies in your neighborhood like Duane Reade, you know, CVS and the rest, in real estate, online stores, car dealerships, sports like NBA and NFL. So these are some of the businesses that you may be able to work if you do have a degree in marketing. Then in institutions, you have colleges, hospital, banks, international corporations, manufacturing industry, tech industries like Snapchat, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, and some of the other tech industry. So, and you also can work in pharmaceutical industry. There's some of them in New York State, but quite a few of them in the New Jersey area. You also can work for government and NGO. So NGO is governmental organizations. And then you also can become an influencer in the field of marketing. And what that means is that you can get directly involved with large group of consumers and inspire, brands. And so usually you have folks like these celebrities, and then content creators. I mean, if you know Kim Kardashian, so she is a type of influencer in the market space, and I know that she has some product lines, but of course, yes, you can be any of that. Then you can also work in relationship marketing, which leverages on database marketing, behavioral advertising, and analytics to get consumers precisely to create loyalty for your program. So when we talk about this database, exactly what we're saying is that relationship marketing is that aspect of marketing that is concerned with trying to recruit, if I may use the word, and keep customers coming. So for example, when you sign up for a membership with Costco or BJ's, or maybe when you go to Rite Aid or pharmacies and they want your email address and they want you to be a loyal member, that's what we're talking about. So there's a section of that business that deals with analyzing what customers want, and they continue to offer them things like coupons, special stuff to keep attracting them, sometimes discount as well. Next slide, please. So, and then what are some of the benefits that you stand to derive if you graduate with a marketing degree? One, you will understand both the traditional markets and the digital market. So when we talk about the traditional market, we're talking about markets like the ones you go out to buy stuff from, but digital market, we're talking about things like Amazon, or we're talking about things like maybe the online version of Target, the online version of BJ, Costco, and some of these other markets, but definitely Amazon and eBay. So that's what we mean by digital markets. Traditional market are the ones you physically go to. You will also be a better consumer, right? There are certain things that sometimes you buy that you don't need, or there are certain things that you buy and you're paying too much money for. And so maybe if you are trying to buy a house, trying to buy a car, could be used or brand new, sometimes you sign up for things that you really don't quite necessarily need. In marketing, we teach you that there's a difference between need and want. A lot of people spend so much money on the things they want rather than the things that they need. So here in marketing, you can also learn that personal lesson where you can become a better consumer. You can also learn how social media and mobile technology can be used in effective marketing. Bill Gates was quoted to have said that if you have a smartphone in this age and time, and you are not making money from it, then you are stupid. So by that, Bill Gates is saying, listen, there's money to be made by mobile banking. There's money to be made on social media. So it's very, very important. And then in marketing, we learn things of that nature. You also will learn how, research work in the marketing field, right? And then you will also learn on how to become a successful marketer if you choose to run a business of your own. You will also understand the various marketing strategies which are used by marketers. For example, pricing, discount, the use of coupons, sales, influencer marketing, relationship marketing, viral marketing. Sometimes you hear that something is gone viral on social media. I mean, marketing can also go viral in that sense, green marketing, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the salaries for people with a marketing degree, according to the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, these are as of the year 2019, and obviously the kinds of work that you can get to do include advertising. You can work in advertising, right? Advertising can be radio-based advertising, TV-based advertising, internet-based advertising, and there's all sorts of branches of advertising. And in fact, at BCC, we have one higher marketing course, which I also teach, the principle of advertising. So there's also promotions, and then marketing managers, right? If you work in any of this field, the median or average pay, again, this is not necessarily for someone with an associate degree. It may require a bachelor's or a master's degree. But for people in that category, they stand to make an average of 135,900. And then the hourly rate on average is about 65.34. Again, that depends on what kind of degree you have. But generally, the entry level into some of this field that could be rewarding to you, it's a bachelor's degree. What that means is that if you graduate from BCC, you can proceed to either Lehman, Baruch, Brooklyn College, Hunter, any of these other schools to get a bachelor's degree in marketing. And with that, you can anticipate to have a rewarding career. So as of 2019, there was approximately 314,900 jobs available in marketing. You know, so it's always a field that continues to grow. And it's, as I said earlier, no matter what field of business or institutions you think about, there's always that marketing element to it. Please, next slide. So if you want, additional detailed information, about marketing, you can go to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics or the American Marketing Association, and you can dig a bit deeper and find out additional information. And certainly you are welcome to reach out to me at any given point. I'm happy to provide some insight. Thank you so much for listening.
Great, thank you so much, professors. I'll open it up now to the group for questions, and then we can go over some next steps for admissions. I know there were a few questions in the chat regarding admissions, so we'll definitely have a chance to review that. But before we transition, I just wanted to give the students here a chance to chat with our professors and ask any questions that you have based on the presentation. So anything at all, don't be shy. Feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand and we can unmute you or type in the chat and we're happy to answer your questions. Okay. All right, well, as you're thinking of your questions, I can just go right into the admissions portion. This way we can get that information to you as well. I hope by now you're thinking about what you need to do to get started and to apply after hearing those presentations. So I know some of you here may already be accepted to BCC. For those of you that are, congratulations. And we're happy to help you with those next steps. If you haven't applied yet, we definitely want to make sure that you know what to do to get accepted to BCC. And it's a very easy process. All you need to do is really get started on the application, which is through the CUNY application online at cuny.edu/apply. You will need to submit an application fee of $65 for freshman students or $70 for transfer students. Those are students that have attended college before. If you are graduating this year from a New York City high school, your guidance counselor can help you with the fee waiver. If you need a fee waiver for other circumstances, CUNY can issue those as well. So you can always email CUNY directly to request a fee waiver if you need it. We'll put that email address in the chat, or you can connect with us in admissions and we can ask on your behalf. Once you've submitted the application, your next step is to go ahead and submit your official documents. If you're applying to more than one CUNY school, which you can do on the CUNY application, you can apply to up to 6 different colleges. So if you're choosing that option, you should submit your official documents, those are your transcripts, to the CUNY Application Processing Center, and you'll get those instructions online when you submit your application. But if you're only applying to BCC and you know that you want to attend here, you can actually have your official transcript sent electronically directly to the admissions office. And this is our email address here. It's just admission with no S on the end, that's important, at bcc.cuny.edu. If you send along your either official high school transcript for freshman students or for transfer students, your official college transcripts directly here, we can review your application very fast, usually within a week, and get you an admissions decision and speed up the process for you. Once you've applied, you want to make sure that you're staying on top of things and you're checking your email daily. We will be reaching out to you from the admissions office regularly to share important updates, deadlines, and reminders. So be sure that you're on top of your email and checking on things. You can also track the status of your application online. You will be prompted to create what's called your CUNY First account. This is going to be your account for pretty much everything once you're a student here as well. But you can use this during the application process to track the status of your application. If there's a document that you might be missing, if you've been accepted, you can find all that information there. And now another really important thing that everyone will want to make sure that they do is apply for financial aid. And you can start doing this right away. It's best to submit your FAFSA application, which is the federal application for financial aid, and TAP, which is your New York State application, right away. How do you do this? It's pretty easy. You just go online to the FAFSA website and complete the 2021-2022 application. They've made this a lot easier for students. You can actually kind of fill in your information, and it merges with your tax information that you just recently submitted to be able to pull all this documentation out much easier than having to manually enter everything. So that's one way. But if you do need help, we also have a financial aid office here on campus that can help to walk you through some questions you might have about the FAFSA, and we'll definitely share contact info for them if you need it. But why do you want to apply for this? This is really important because you could potentially be eligible for over $11,000 in grants. And grants are free money for you for school that are not loans. They don't need to be paid back. You just need to successfully go to college and complete your courses in a timely manner. And that's if you qualify for both the Pell and TAP grants, you can qualify for this much. And BCC, you've heard it a little bit already today, but it's very affordable. The cost of our tuition is just a little bit over $5,000 per year. So if you do the math between what you could be eligible for in grants and subtract the cost of tuition, you can see that you would be more than covered for the cost of BCC tuition, and even potentially have some leftover grant money for other school-related expenses that you can spend on books, transportation, whatever it is that you might need. So this is really important when you're thinking about where you want to go to college and as you're starting the application process. So once you've been accepted to BCC, your next step is to commit and let us know that you do in fact want to attend. You can do this by clicking the I accept button on your email acceptance letter that we send to you to tell us that you're coming to BCC, or through that CUNY First account by accepting the offer there. You should do this as soon as you're ready to commit to Bronx Community College. Once you've accepted the offer, we can start preparing you for the next steps and getting you actually registered for classes. And we did just start registration for new students this week. So once you've committed to BCC, we can quickly set you up with an appointment to meet with an advisor and start registering for your classes. So you can kick off your summer, relax, and have your schedule in hand for the fall semester. So I jumped the gun a little bit here, but that is your next step after you accept, is to register for classes. We want this to be a one-on-one process for you. So you will meet with an academic advisor individually via Zoom. And during your appointment, you'll be able to go over questions like reviewing your major. You'll select your course schedule. You can discuss any questions that you still have about attending BCC. You'll also learn about options for new student orientation and participating in that. And then you'll find out how to claim your loaner laptop if you need it, or device. So something that we've been offering since the beginning of COVID is students the option to borrow a device or a laptop that aren't in need of it. So I know many of the high schools have been doing this throughout COVID. So this is a great way to continue that and to get a device that you'll need to complete school. So anyone that needs it can apply for that option. And that's really what I wanted to share for you today. For some admissions information, I'll leave you with our contact information for the Office of Admission, our phone number and email address, and also the Office of Financial Aid's phone number and email address. And I know Natalie this whole time has been sharing some really helpful links in the chat, including some instructions for financial aid and links to next steps. So hopefully this answered some of your questions. We definitely have a ton more information on our website, and you can connect live with admissions counselors throughout the week if you want to talk with us one-on-one. But we definitely have time for questions now. So I definitely want to turn it over to the students here today. Please ask your questions in the chat or unmute yourself and just let us know what we can help you with.
Hi, yes. My name is Nerkis Mariano.
Hi.
And hi, I wanted to know how soon can I meet with an advisor so that I could start registering for my classes?
Sure. Have you been accepted to BCC?
Yes,
Okay, congratulations.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Did you get an email from us inviting you to registration yet?
I did, and I registered already. So do I wait?
Okay, so it sounds like, did you meet with an advisor or not yet?
No, not yet. I was supposed to today. It's at 4 o'clock, so I'm on here. So I'm just asking. I don't know. I've never done this before.
Okay, I think maybe you registered for the event today, but maybe not an actual appointment with an advisor. But what we can do, I'll send you a private message here. I'll get your CUNY ID number if you're able to send that to me. And then we can look into your record and see if you're ready for registration and then send you the details. But every student that's ready, has been accepted and is ready for that registration step, should be getting an email from the admissions office with instructions on what to do to connect with your advisor. There's like a link that connects you to an online waiting system, which puts you in line to meet with an academic advisor virtually. So check your emails and see if you've gotten that email yet. I'm sure you've gotten a couple of emails from us, but check your registration email and see if you've received that. If you think that you should have and haven't, just let us know and we can definitely reach out to you individually and make sure we get you that or get you the right information for next steps.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I have one question.
Yeah.
So, I spoke with my counselor about this, but I'm not really sure what is the process. But I accepted BMCC like I was going there, but like that was ahead of time. But like I don't really want to go there. And she told me if it's a SUNY school, CUNY school, I could accept the school I want to go to, and then when I get the emails, I could just only answer the school that I want to go to. Is that how it works? It's like if I want to go to Bronx Community College, I only answer your emails.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit different for every school. So I can only tell you for Bronx Community College and CUNY community colleges, you can accept the offer of admission from multiple colleges. So if you've already accepted the offer of BMCC, that's okay. You can still accept the offer here and we can still help you with registering for classes here. If you know you don't want to attend BMCC anymore, I would suggest just emailing their admissions office, let them know that you're no longer interested in attending, and then just accept the offer with us. We can do that for you today. We'll just grab your CUNY ID number. This way we know that you do want to attend BCC, and you'll start getting the right emails from us for next steps. But yeah, you should definitely stay in touch with us, answer our emails, and communicate with us and follow the instructions that we give to you for next steps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello,
Yes, other questions?
do you hear me?
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, you're breaking up a bit. I heard you for a minute, but
can you hear me?
it's breaking up a lot. I did see you typing in the chat, Sean, and I see that you need some assistance as well with possibly registration. So we can message you and get your ID number. Okay.
Yeah, I'm working with him now.
Thanks, Natalie. Okay, great question so far. I'm glad that everybody is pretty active and ready for the next step. So that's a great sign. Like I said, this is our first week of new student registration. So if you haven't connected with an advisor yet, don't worry. We've only done one day. This is our second day today. So you're still in a great place and you're still ahead of the game, and we can still make sure that we connect you with an advisor and get you ready for the fall semester. Okay, I see a question from Ian in the chat that needs assistance with admissions. Ian, let us know if there's something specific that you need help with, if you've started the application, or if you'd like to reach with us individually, we can also message you. And then are there any questions for our professors here as well? I think we got a really great overview of the offerings that we have in the business administration department, and some awesome things to hear about job prospects, which is always really good. So feel free to ask away any questions that you might have. Okay, I got a question in the chat. How do you know if you qualify for the ASAP program? That's a great question. We didn't get too much into ASAP here today, but it's a wonderful program that we talk a lot about. The ASAP program is a great program for students. The idea is to help students to graduate on time, and we provide all sorts of supports to make that possible. There are eligibility requirements for this program, but at BCC, we're considered the ASAP College of CUNY. So we are actually looking at all students that apply to see if you're eligible for the program. There's no separate application process, so really nothing you need to do on your end at this point. If you are eligible for ASAP, we will automatically invite you to an ASAP appointment to meet with an advisor and to register for classes with ASAP. And in that appointment, they'll go ahead and kind of go over all the requirements for the program and what you're expected to do as an ASAP student. So there's a lot of really wonderful support programs at BCC, and we make it really easy for you. Anything that you're eligible for, we're going to automatically make sure that you meet with that person in that department so you can get the services that you need. Okay, I have a question in the chat for our professors. Ian would like to know any suggestions or anything about opening your own business. Anything to share there?
I'll respond to that. Thanks for that question, Ian. Every one of the disciplines that we teach in business deals with the issue of new businesses and opening businesses from the perspective of marketing or perspective of accounting and from the perspective of management. And within the management sequence, there is a course which is called entrepreneurism. So yes, indeed, there will be a lot of exposure and discussion and direction regarding steps to take towards being an entrepreneur.
Great, thank you. Okay, and we had a question in the chat about what's the next step after you accept the offer of admission. Great question. Natalie just shared a link in our chat for our accepted students page for after you're accepted. But the next step is to meet with an advisor and register. And we will be sending invitations to students weekly to join those appointments and join those sessions to meet with an advisor individually. If you just accepted the offer very recently, it might take a day or two or a couple of days for us to get that invitation out to you, but it will definitely come. All right, these are really great questions. Feel free to keep them coming. We are here until 5 o'clock, so we have about 5 more minutes. So any questions you have, please ask away. Natalie, can you connect with iPhone Prius in the chat? Thank you. Yeah, the question is regarding help in Spanish. And if you do need, if any other students need that help, we can definitely connect you with Spanish speakers in our office and help you with programs that are to help with English. We have our CLIP program, which is a language immersion program that we can offer to you. So we have services and supports for you too. Okay, we have a couple more minutes. So I'll ask if there's any other questions, please put them in the chat or unmute yourself now so we can get to them.
Erica, could we get a show of hands of students that at this point think that the business department in some way, shape, or form might be their interest?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see that. Feel free to use the emoji function. Yep, I got a thumbs up. If you're thinking business is what you're interested in. I know at the beginning of the conversation, I saw a lot of action in the chat that said students were interested in business. So that's great to see. Okay, I see some questions in the chat related to English learners. We're going to share a link regarding our CLIP program and some instructions for students that might need to take our English language assessment test before registering for classes. So Natalie, if I can just ask you to share that link when you have a chance regarding the CLIP program. And then for instructions for the ESLD exam, if students need that. If you attended high school here or attended high school in another country and English is your second language, you might need to take what's called the ESL diagnostic exam. If you need that, we look on your application to see if you need it and we'll send you that exam to take. So we want to make sure every student that starts is in the right place and in the appropriate level class for them. So we'll help to navigate that for you. Okay, well, if you do not have any other questions, you are all free to go for the evening. I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. You'll definitely hear from us after today's event with next steps and contact information. And please stay in touch with us via email or phone. Our professors are here as well. We can always connect you with them if you have questions after today. And I just want to thank our professors for joining us and for your wonderful and informative presentations.
Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, thank you.